Let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, this show has been canceled. In the latest season, it kind of looked like they were kind of wrapping it up anyway. So I don't know why people are whacked out about the cancellation. In this book, it kind of sets up like what the season 8 bad story could have been. Without further ado, let's get into this Earth Prime comic event of Legends of Tomorrow. The first story is titled X Legends of Tomorrow. Now, the book starts off with Ray trying to contact Nate about this bro code type thing, and they'll have a drink on a video call or something. But he hasn't gotten their call, so he thinks they're in trouble. So he suits up and he wants to go get some help from Jax. But Ray and Nora also mention that they're having a baby in this book. And then throughout the whole story, Ray is considering there's some sort of plot about being a father throughout this whole book for Ray. And so yeah, Ray goes to Jax. Also, Kendra and Hal are there. They all join him to go get Mick, which Mick has a little time courier, so they can go through time to go to the Legends wherever they are. Mick and Kyla left their kids with Mona, and Mona babysits the kids, but they get kidnapped by some Necrian assassins, because that's what the description says. Yeah. And so they arrive to a trash house, Mick grabs his time courier, and then they teleport throughout time fighting these Necrian assassins. Jax is like, oh, I shouldn't go either, I'm not a superhero, and Mick gives him an ice gun. So Jax becomes Captain Cold 2.0 for this mission, and so they fight in Egypt 1700 BC, in Mexico 100 AD, Vietnam 1400 AD, and then France 1750 AD. Ray shrinks down some Necrians, and then they come back to learn that the babies were taken by Kyla's mom, and that the ones that they were chasing through time were just a distraction. And so they all join her to save her kids. While on their way, they talk about past villains, past legends. They arrive. They fight some more, and yeah, Mona gives her story like, oh yeah, I went all wolfy on these guys, and the only reason your mom didn't eat me was because your dad likes Rebecca Silver. And Kyla and her mom talk about, like, you gotta let me see your kids for like every once in a while, you hear? That happened. And so Ray talks to Kendra about their life and how it's changed and how he knows he's gonna be a good father in some way. But then they all return to Earth, and then Nate calls Ray. And in that part is when we learn that Nate is calling from episode 713, about being like, yeah, dude, I got a lot to tell you. As some time passes, and Nora wants to call the newborn Damien. They have a heart-to-heart, and yeah. Alright, the second story is, there's no like actual title for this, it's just Star City 2049. And Ray talks about the last time they were all together, which was this story just before it. So, last time we were all together, we had to save Mick's babies. Funny enough, Wally was there. That was surprising. I knew some sort of Flash was going to appear. Flashback to when I said Flash was going to appear in the Legends one. And I wonder if, like, who else will appear in that episode? Maybe Barry will appear in the episode since they're all in the present day. And yeah, Wally has to run off for something. He got a little beep beep on his little watch thing, so he runs off. I don't know what it is. Hopefully that comes back. Probably won't. But he might have had to run to the past to come to whatever is happening on the Flash right now with Deathstorm or whatever. Kendra and Hal talk about their daughter becoming Hawkwoman, and then they talk about Hawkwoman. So you're keeping the Hawk Girl, and like, Supergirl has kept Supergirl, and Wally's kept Kid Flash. And then Sarah explains the stuff about, yeah, there's always been a couple canaries, but just the difference between them is the color. And then she just freaking vanishes. They all vanish. So this could have possibly been a future storyline for the show, but it didn't happen because they're canceled now. And then story 3 is also another a possible setup. Booster's Day Out was the title of this story. And so Booster takes the Wave Rider and to destroy his fixed point device, which he does destroy it. But then since he destroys it, he goes on his time trip. He goes to Star City 2315 to a Big Belly Burger. Maybe it's better that time, I don't know. And then he goes to Hey World in 2019, just to call back to Hey World in like season 5, 4. I don't remember. And then he goes to Salvation in 1874 when Bebo and Malice were fighting. And then he goes to London in 1977, where that is the moment where Sarah proposes to Ava, I believe. And then Booster is apparently friends with Charlie, and then the fixed point cops come out of nowhere, and so Charlie tries to stop them so Booster can get away in the Wave Rider. But he doesn't get away, and the boss of this whole thing is like, you're gonna help us find the Legends of Tomorrow. And so then that's where it's left off. And no one got picked up. I thought the Nigerian assassins were gonna be picked up by Magog, but they didn't. And maybe them disappearing is a setup for just this comic, because they're from the future. So I don't know. But this for sure was a setup for the story of season 8. Because this isn't gonna go anywhere. Because there's no way this can go anywhere. There's gonna be no wrap up to this story. I'm just thinking that this was gonna be another weird season, another low budget season, because they've had a pretty big budget ones in the past with Neuron and Malice. Those were pretty big budget ones. And then the low budget ones were the Fate Sisters, just now with Evil Gideon. They didn't time travel much, so that means they didn't have to do the temporal zone much. I feel like they were going into another low budget one with just this story. They could have just done and it feels like they were just wrapping up the season too. Like, I don't know how many times I gotta say this, but Evil Gideon's thing was stop time traveling and I'll let you go. And then apparently both Gideons, Robot Gideon and a real Gideon, are just saving time. And I learned that through this book, so it's technically a spoiler. So if they're just protecting time, what were these legends going to do? They can't time travel anymore. I feel like that was the perfect ending to the show. Make them stop time traveling. Like, every single season's been them time traveling. You can't just do a random season like that, where they don't time travel for an entire season to keep them time traveling. And they did it clones. Like, the past 2 seasons have been low budget AF. Yes, I know they did Aliens, but they were still super low budget. They only had like a moth thing with a weird syrup episode, or the weird condiment episode, for like a couple seconds with that big moth. And then they did a couple more aliens, like at the last few episodes, and then the Nigerian children. Like, it was kind of low budget, because with the Flash, he's running almost every episode. He ran in his lightning. Like, Deathstorm is full on like CGI. Like, I know Legends of Tomorrow wasn't getting that much like shit, but holy crap, Legends being canceled is honestly okay. I am sad to see it go, but it felt like that's where it was going, to be in like that being the final season. Yes, they introduced Booster Gold, which is apparently a freaking time traveling guy, but there's nothing else there to do. They time traveled once more. They basically retired, so I felt like that was the perfect ending to it. And Vloume, on the other hand, they set something up there for a big bad, and they just, now that's not going to go anywhere. And them disappearing in this, I hope comes back, and isn't just something they were going to do in season 8. Because this third story was a literal setup for the season 8. This was already better than friggin' Superman and Lois's by far. 'Cause this felt like an episode, where Superman and Lois didn't really feel like an episode. Alright guys, hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, please put a like down below. If you guys haven't already, please check out my last review. And then check out my latest video. And then subscribe. Peace.